Now we go stateside for Miami for round 6 and the return of the sprint races here for today's episode of the F1 25 My Team Career Mode. Now, as you can see, we have gained a nice bit of fan rating and some bonuses which are going to go very nicely to improving our team and how things are looking moving forward. Now, there is one thing to note. We have some negative feedback, and as a fan of the team, we seem to miss potential scoring opportunities, which is a bit weird considering we've already won a race.
Hey boss, really pleased to say that early talks have progressed well, and we're now in a position to have a first meeting with them to learn more about what we're each after. It's a bit of a dance, but it'll be worth it, I think. And remember, it doesn't bind us to them. We can always go elsewhere.
Now guys, if you haven't seen the previous episode, I mentioned we got a win. That was in Bahrain. The previous episode was in Jeddah. Link in the top right. It was insane. We gambled on a one stop, and yeah, will it pay off? You can go watch and find out. Now we have our first round of driver talks in this episode. We start out with Solov first, and then we're going to go hopefully onto Jarno, which is what I expect will happen. Now Nikola Solov is going to be the first one on the table, and basically here's what he expects. A workforce of 222 staff, level 2 fan rating, which we already have, and 8th in terms of the vehicle performance ranking. So we can probably do that. We already have one of those. We're currently bottom of the chart. I'm not too sure what our workforce is, but I'm sure we're not too far away. Either way, we're going to basically just continue talks for now. But we're going to leave our options open, for Nikola Solov, for Jarno Opmeer, also for the drivers that we're scouting, Franco Colapinto and Liam Lawson. We haven't had any meetings with those two yet, but I'm certain they're not going to be too far away. Now, in terms of Jarno, the terms that he wants for his renewal is a workforce that's a bit larger, 237, also requesting a fan rating level 3 and a 7th place ranking in vehicle performance. So definitely a bit more demanding, but only slightly, and still very much achievable for us in this first season. So yeah, the meetings went okay.
Things are progressing well. We've got a bit more into the weeds of discussions following that first early meeting. In a good way, details. I'll keep you posted. It's not over the line yet.
So definitely not over the line yet, but either way we have some updates. Now, last time out we got a really good P5, and we've had some solid results lately. We've hit our first accolade, which is the Constructors' Points milestone, and then we've also increased our title sponsor loyalty level, which is great. It basically means we get higher owner XP. That's all that really comes with it, but hopefully we can keep pushing it forward. And we've also unlocked another training point for our owner training. Now for this one, we've already spent one on the level 1 engineering, the level 1 personnel, and we're now going to go over to corporate and basically buy that level 1 as well, because basically it's going to improve our corporate relations, which is ultimately what we're looking for at this stage. More sponsors, more money, and just trying to really get off the bottom of the table, which is what I want. You can see here we're going to get a 10% increase in our corporate facility income, so we'll go ahead and get that, and we have to basically apply that via the activities. So we're going to quickly, swiftly move over to that activity tab, apply that training, and then we're going to also put on some extra activities. Now, all of these had pros and cons, give or take. Now, the engineering tab had blitz research or development, which is basically, fast work, but bad quality work. So I didn't want to do any of that because it can have a negative effect. So we left the engineering tab blank. And then elsewhere for personnel and corporate, we were basically just do, staff events to keep morale high and also try to improve cash flow.
Hey, Chief. We have a part or two ready for development because they've finished research. Let's get that in motion, shall we? Head to engineering for more info.
Now we have received the front wing adjuster bracket, and we're going to purchase another upgrade, this time for the beam wing, and also the plank has arrived. So we're going to go and purchase the tyre blankets. We actually have 2 upgrades available, but I'm going to go for the tyre blankets first because we are struggling a bit with, our tyre wear issues in the race. Now, this is one thing I've seen you guys in the comments mention. We have other secondary sponsors available, which, we can use, but I feel like I haven't earned them. Hence why I'm not putting one on the car. But I want you guys to comment, do you want me to run them or not? Because I feel like I can basically, organically unlock secondary sponsors. I feel like we don't really need help at the minute. I think we're doing quite an organic job of working our way through. So I can just run with these 2 for now, X4 MiG and Aperture, unless we want to run those secondary ones and kind of add some more variety to our car. but it's up to you. Either way, in the meantime, we move ahead on the timeline and we do receive some more upgrades and more research. Engineering also levels up. We improve our comms, which basically is going to improve our owner XP from every bit of research that we do from now on out. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and do some more work. Now, we've received the pistons research, but I'm not going to do any more for now. Again, I'm not really too keen on engine or durability for the time being, and that's not really our focus. Only because we had a very cheap engine pistons at 49 R&D points. 49. We're now going to develop the upgrade, so that's going to be arriving soon. And yeah, just taking progress steps in the right direction bit by bit. Now, one thing I want to do is get on another facility improvement now that we've received in the one we just got. And for this one, it's pretty obvious. I'm wanting to do development expansion for the chassis, to essentially do 2 developments at the same time, because we have a few stacked up and I can't quite do them right now. So we're going to do that and hopefully unlock a dual development slot as we then go ahead on the timeline.
Unfortunately, it looks like a part we were developing has failed. I'm sorry to say we will need to revisit the development area and redevelop it. Sorry, Chief.
So, the good news is that we have received the secondary wing flaps. The bad news is that the beam wing has failed on the development. So we've got our research, but yeah, 50-50, not getting the best of results. We also receive our gearbox research, which is good, so we can now go ahead and research the ICE. Now that will become relevant later on in this video, but engine wear essentially is becoming a factor, and the ICE is the main reason for that. Now here's the beam wing that failed on the development, so we're going to basically repurchase that one. And also we received the tire blanket, so we're going to do another one. We've received, one batch of tire blanket upgrades for, let's say Yanowatmir. So we're now going to do that second batch for Solov for the next race, and then we'll work on the next upgrade following that. So basically just trying to get things done as quick as possible. And hopefully that facility upgrade that we just bought, we can either do 2 separate upgrades at once or a dual development, which is also going to be very productive in terms of our drivers. Now, with that out of the way, we're all done up to date. We've got all of our upgrades, rocking and rolling. We've got all our research locked in. We're now going to assign the upgrade of the tire wear blankets. And that's going to be for Yanowatmir. As always, we're going to apply to him first because we are racing with Solov this weekend. So you can see we're still bottom of the chart by a reasonable margin, but we'll get more of a zoomed in version in just a bit. Now, here's confirmation, us racing as Solov this weekend. He's now 61 rated, so he's leveled up from 60 in the recent rounds. And one thing I want to note, from now on in the sprint episodes, guys, I'm going to run a short quali rather than a full, just to kind of shorten these videos, these episodes a little bit, just for the sprint ones, because even this one's like 55 minutes long, but it's under an hour, which is what I'm looking for here. So hopefully you guys understand. The forecast is dry, except for the race. We have a little bit of rain. Here is the chart, so we are actually making good progress. We're closing in on Sauber quite nicely, and bit by bit we are making strides in the right direction, and developments are looking pretty healthy. So with that out of the way, we can now finally jump into the weekend. We're going to, of course, have a sprint, so lots of sessions and racing action. We're going to start out with practice, and again, we're going to basically apply a default setup, which is going to be preset 4, increased top speed, and we're going to tweak it to make sure we have the values set correctly to what I want, and yeah, just running a bit more of an offset on the wing on the front as we jump into the sessions. Now, we had a bit of an issue, number one being the engine. You can see in the bottom right, it's a bit worn, and also this is the tyre wear program, which didn't go well on the first lap. We failed it. It wasn't ideal, but we went for a second lap and we got the job done. Basically cleaned up those mistakes and yeah, got it over the line. Now, because it's a sprint session, we don't actually have a whole bunch of tyres available. So we only have softs, and only 2 of them. We've already burnt 1 in the tyre management, so we can't do the qualifying pace program. So we're only going to do the race strategy, and we're not going to do any quali sims, so we won't know what the real rapid pace is. Either way, we're going to do our race runs. We actually missed the target on our first lap, just a bit too quick of a delta for me to match it, and it seems that Delta and the AI are a touch quicker around this track based off practice. Making our way through the hairpin, I completely lost the tyres on the last lap. They were overheating like crazy. You can see in the bottom right, we've got the wear icon over 60% on the left rear, but we crossed the line also with our worn engine, and we finish more or less level. I'd say it's, on the estimates, really pace-wise on average. So yeah, nothing really good or bad to take away from that one. We finished practice though, and we have to scroll down Ocon P5 on hards, but if we go to the bottom there we are, P20, Jarno P22. So it seems, in principle, 110AI are actually quick around here, which could be interesting. Anyway, we pick up a nice chunk of our ID points, as always, of course, a slightly reduced amount because it's a sprint weekend, so no more pre-practice. And yeah, we also pick up our discounts. Now, we're going to run this engine for the sprint shootout, and I'll explain why in just a bit. Either way, let's get into it and let's see how it goes.
Welcome back to Miami and welcome to qualifying. Only raw speed will separate these drivers today, but the question is, who's got what it takes to get pole?
Now, for this one, with the short qualifying session format, we have the tyres available, the 2 mediums and the soft, but realistically with 10 minutes on the clock, you're only going to get one run. We're going to do basically a medium test run, and then we're going to go for a soft flyer at the end. So we got a medium run out the way, we get a bank lap on the board and a reference time, but we do actually go to the bottom, so confirming the AI's pace as we're last right now by quite some way. That was actually a really good lap, which was the first inkling that my engine wear is quite bad, and this is why I didn't change the engine, because I want to find out just how bad engine wear is in this game compared to 24, and I want to see how much your performance gets hampered or limited, and in this case it's the ICE that's really suffering. So we're now going to get that soft glory run on the go at the last part of the session, and we're going to see if we can try and hopefully go quicker and sort it all out. Now we straight away find 3/10 at turn 1, give or take, and we kept on pushing away, didn't really find much more. And I feel like I'm a bit down in the speed traps. The car feels sluggish. The car feels slow. I'm not going to lie. But again, the soft tyres worked well. We found plenty of grip, through these kind of low speed sections. And eventually, even at the last hairpin especially, we broke super late, managed to get the car stopped and turned. And we are going to find approximately a second. And that's still not exactly going to get us anywhere near the sharp end. So yeah, the AI definitely are quicker. Over the line we go. Qualifying done, and it's going to be P19 for us. So yeah, now I think it's a good time to say, right, let's change the engine. I don't mind starting the sprint from the back. It's not really much of a loss. Lando's on pole, and now we basically know that a worn engine does really suffer, and I've got some data to back that up. So our top speed in that session was 331 on the kind of curved back straight, the first one after the Sector 1S section. So that's going to be a reference point. You can see P19 for us, we just out-qualified Jarno. We just missed out on doing in P18, but still, we're going to take a grid drop. So we're going to drop to the back of the grid, and that's going to be all she wrote. So you can see here the ICE 74%, pretty knackered. Also, the MGUH is fairly worn out, sitting at 65%. So that's also pretty knackered out. And then we're going to change the gearbox. We've got 6 of them available, so we can go ahead and basically get the gearbox switched out, which is on 62 as well, to be fair. So we're going to get that changed. And then last minute, I decided to go for the turbocharger as well, which is on 57, because those 4 are quite important. So we're going to go for the sprint, and hopefully we'll have a little power boost to try and re-overtake our way into the points.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long and expected average speeds of 138 miles an hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Tsunoda, Leclerc, Liam Lawson and Antonelli, Gasly, Piastri, Hulkenberg and Fernando Alonso, Behrman, Hamilton, Esteban Ocon and Sainz, Stroll, Russell, Alex Albon and Jack Doohan, Opmeer, Bortoletto, Hadjar and Nicola Zoloff rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Right, sprint time in Miami. We start from the back of the grid, of course, as you would expect with that grid drop. But I think it makes sense. You know, we're not very quick around here, so we may as well cash in, get an engine change, and take it from there. So for this one, really, the strategy is fairly simple. No pit stop, medium, or possibly hard. Now, the hard tyre seems a bit more appealing, but I don't know how many hard tyres I have. So my concern here is if I burn one now, I won't have one for the main race. So because of that doubt, I'm going to go with the medium, and I think everyone will do the same thing. So I think it's going to be fairly simple on strategy. I'm running 0.2 of fuel, which also should be fine. So let's get into it. We are running a bit more wing, of course, as you saw me change it in qualifying. Hopefully with a fresh engine, we're quick on the straight, and we could try and maybe fight, but I think points are going to be unlikely. So everybody lining up after a season so far of being at the sharp end, it has to be said, and qualifying well, we get humbled, and today we're starting at the back. Still though, I relish the challenge, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So let's get into it, and let's see how we get on for the sprint here in Miami. Perfect, line up, lights on, here we go. Revs, lights, and away we go. Good start. To the outside into turn one. Nowhere to go. Just going to have to wait. Big lunge from Bortoletto actually down the inside there. So I probably picked the wrong line. Should have gone down the inside. Either way, it's 3 wide up ahead. We get under Albon. We're going to get Stroll as well here. Or try to. Before the SS, I'm going to get across and get in front. So Otmir also being smart and efficient with his racecraft here as we look to gain a few more. Down the inside of Otmir doing there, still on the outside. I've got to leave room, but we're through. P17. I can already feel the extra bit of horsepower. I think we're still a bit slow on the straights around here, but it would have been much more difficult with the old engine. As Doohan goes back through, we're going to tuck back in for slipstream. Down the inside. Aggressive first lap, but we take that one back. We've got Russell here with Bortoletto, who's had a great start in the Sauber. They're going side by side here, so there might be an opportunity if I can pick a line. I'm going to open this up a little bit and just kind of follow Russell. That wasn't a good exit, but hopefully we'll follow. No, Bortoletto's going through. Using battery here, making a big investment to try and maybe get them both. Nowhere to go, trying to pick a line. The double dive was tempting, but we'll sit back for now. I think George will be quick, so we'll let him go.
We can now use DRS. DRS now available.
So dark and hard to see at times in these shadows, which isn't really a realistic time of day compared to the IRL sprint, so they really should patch this, to be fair. But either way, small adaptation phase with the visuals, and back to it. Jarno's behind, so he's also past Doohan. This might break the train, to be fair, although there's probably more battles ahead. Just trying to keep some battery back. Car feels way better though in race trim.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Whoa, big snap there for Ocon. Out of turn one. I'm going to try and set up a line here to get underneath George Russell. Still there. As we get that dirty air. Still side by side with George. But we'll get that one done. I'm going to try and put the pinch on, but Russell holds on. Don't have a ton of battery, but I should have enough here to get this one done. Doohan lurking. I'm going to try and fight to get the slipstream here from George. There goes Doohan. Down the inside. Get it stopped. And that's a move right there. Oh my god, look at this. Russell also pulling out from behind and having a look. It's 3 wide. Antonelli and Ocon goes round. Oh my god. Surely that's got to be a safety car, right?
Right, there's a big incident in front of you. Red flag, red flag. We'll update you in the pits. Everyone's okay?
Right, so red flag. Let's have a little look at our options, shall we? This should be interesting. Now then, tempting. Do we gamble and burn a set of softs? We're not really going to see soft tyres much more this weekend, barring the main qualifying. It makes me think, you know, a medium could work, but if we were to go for a soft, we could potentially gamble to some points, which could be interesting. So I'm tempted to take a risk and go for the soft tyres. I think why not? Let's take a chance and see what happens. Race restart lap 6. It's basically a 4-lap sprint. Why not? Right, let's get to it then. Underway. I think Behrman's engine's gone off the line. We're still in none. ERS. Another restart here as we head to turn 1. It's all very clogged up here as we all are trying to get through. Oh, that barrier was close. Got loads of understeer there, but we've somehow passed.
Some information on Behrman for you. They're retiring from the race.
We've passed the 2 Mercs. I think Ocon might have damage. I can't tell. We're going to just put the squeeze on Antonelli here and take that position. So Ocon's got 5 seconds, so we're P13, technically speaking. I think we can do this, you know. We can do this. This is going to be an important lap. Mercs are battling behind, also they're battling in front. Bortoletto, Alonso. I'm going to try and sneak on Ocon here. That was an aggressive lunge, but it works. Caught Ocon by surprise. Now last time I didn't do this, but could I go for the double dive bomb this time? Ocon's right there. I'm using all my battery. We'll get Alonso. Bortoletto is flying, by the way. What a sprint from him as well so far. He started at the back with us, and he's still ahead of us. A little bit of a snap there. Not ideal. I think the medium is the ideal race tyre, but it gives us a chance to potentially save a set for the race, if that's even a thing with sprints. Alonso to the outside. Oh, we lock on there briefly. I swear I didn't change my line. I swear that's not on me, but either way we hang on, crucially. Let's close back up to these guys. AI are pushing quite hard right now, and the pace is quite strong. Warning. Too much of a corner cut through that one. I will note we would have had warm mediums compared to everybody else who had fresh mediums, because we did burn a set in the sprint qualifying, so that would have been a disadvantage anyway, so I don't entirely mind this gamble. Now that I've remembered, they're battling ahead, so there might still be something up for grabs here. They're also battling behind, so at the minute I'm just trying to see if I can save some battery really for the last lap or so. That would be huge for us. Ocon's had a great run. I didn't have the best exit, and that Haas is very quick on the straight. We're going to have to tuck in for slipstream. Even still, Ocon's pulling away. We'll fight that one back though. I've got a bit better confidence on the brakes around this particular racetrack, as Lawson's dropping through the field. For whatever reason, he's slow. So, let's see, everyone's going through. Oh no. Damn it. Well, that's an end to our sprint.
Alright, so we've been looking at the damage and we think we should be okay to continue. It's going to cost us a little bit of time, but we're nearly at the end of the race.
Yeah. Not ideal. Why is it that we always get, the sprints with Solov, and then we get damage in those? That's a huge lock up there because of the damage. Ocon there with the shunt. That's going to put an end to any hopes for points, but we gave it a good go. Really good go. Aggressive sprint approach, but this is now just going to be a painful ending as we fall through the field in this last lap. I just don't have the front end, so everyone's going to queue up to go through. We managed to survive with damage. Next up, Doohan, and then Stroll will be also coming through. Albon as well. What a shame. Did so well. Literally everyone just flooding through. And Jarno's not even in the mix. That's a shame. So Verstappen wins. Here comes Hadjar. I will defend this if I can. So P19, almost where we qualified, but still, it is what it is. We gave it a go.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So there we go. Results in, sprint finished. Shame, but we don't score points. Just like in China, so far we're 0 and 2 in sprints, especially with Solov. So yeah, there's your final finishing order. Bearman at the back. We finished with both cars in the back four, and yeah, it is what it is. Ocon with that penalty still wasn't able to cash in and capitalise. Bortoletto finished in P10. What a drive from him, considering where he started. And the final point went to Hulkenberg in the other Sauber. So yeah, not the worst thing in the world. I had low expectations, but now we're going to go to the main qualifying with a fresh engine, hopefully also a bit more pace, and then we're going to go for the main event to try and hopefully fight for a point.
Welcome back to Miami and welcome to qualifying. Only raw speed will separate these drivers today, but the question is, who's got what it takes to get pole?
Now, here we go, into the main qualifying. We have 2 soft tyres available, so 2 runs only for this one. So we're going to try and hopefully deliver on both. Now, first lap underway. Important to note, in the sprint shootout, which we used that old engine, and I mentioned before the data from that, we hit a top speed of 331 on the DRS straight after this. Here we hit 335, so the engine components make a big difference in terms of top speed. Now, turn 1 was horrific. I kept on messing it up all weekend long, and I had a light bulb moment on the last lap of this session. For now though, we're still pushing on. We go purple in the middle, which is an encouraging sign that we're finding a bit of pace, and now we're going to close out the lap. Stroll P18 with a 28.7. We're going to go over the line and we're going to set a 127.5 and go P14, only a 10th off Hadjar in 12th. So back to the garage. You can see 17th once everybody set their lap times. We do own the best middle sector, but our final is a little bit off, but the first is where I'm really bleeding time. The first is really, really slow compared to other teams. We're losing 6, 7, 8 tenths around there, so that's an issue. And I go back to that turn 1 because I found out there's a few corners around this track, and I want to try and highlight them now, where you lose grip and you basically can't run out or off the track. So for example, turn 1 here, you would normally bring the car over to the left onto the blue paint and even the asphalt and brake to make the track as wide as possible, but there's no grip. Even though you can't see nothing, there's basically like the marbles or dust. You can't go offline or off track, so that's going to compromise you massively. We got it wrong here. We still found time, but we left another 2, 3, 4 tenths on the table. Same story for this corner. This was an issue last game. If you go out on that curb, it's very understeery, very slippy, and you're just going to wash out. You can't go out to that curb, otherwise you're going to just lose your entire lap. So it does seem to be a theme, a pattern around this track. And it doesn't happen everywhere because, for example, for this next braking zone, if you bring the car over to the right, close to the barrier, you can actually brake on the paint. But this time, I got it all wrong. I broke super, super late. We managed to keep the lap valid, but it just seems like maybe even there, maybe it's placebo, but you can't run off track on corner entries, even though you're not invalidating. You just can't touch the paint because it's just going to send you wide. So this lap has been a disaster. We've been all over the shop, and genuinely, I think we left 3 tenths. I'm going to be conservative and say 3 tenths at turn 1, and then in that heavy braking zone before the kind of mechanical grip section where we ran deep, I think we left another 4, 5 tenths. I reckon genuinely there was another 8 tenths in this lap, which could have made a big difference because we crossed the line and we qualify P18. So we basically do one better than our sprint shootout result, but genuinely, if you now go to our time, I think we could have comfortably qualified 13th and got ahead of Carlos Sainz. Possibly could have challenged the likes of Alonso and possibly even got P10 ahead of Gasly. That might have been the ideal gap to aim for, but easily would have got to 13th. You know, that's only 2/10 up the road. So, yeah, very close in this part of the track. Everyone's very competitive in this area, but either way, we're going to go to the race. Hopefully we can deliver, put it together. No points in the sprint, so pressure on to try and deliver in the race and keep our point streak going. We've scored points in every race so far this season, so hopefully it continues.
Welcome to the Miami International Autodrome, home of the Miami Grand Prix. This exciting track circumnavigates the Hard Rock Stadium, home to the National Football League outfit, the Miami Dolphins. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 3.36 miles of track around the Hard Rock Stadium, and 19 corners make up the Miami International Autodrome, which will challenge the drivers in a tight wheel-to-wheel race. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Tsunoda, Norris, George Russell and Piastri, Antonelli, Hamilton, Lawson and Pierre Gasly, Bortoleto, Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz and Stroll, Albon, Doohan, Nicolas Soloff and Jarno Opmeer, Ocon, Hadjar, Hulkenberg and Ollie Behrman rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend Anthony Davidson. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Well, they'll definitely be glad that there's not a sprint race today. Let's face it, the sprint couldn't have gone much worse, but what we're looking for today is a reaction. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday, but in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was about 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometers an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow-speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
So, time for the second race of the Miami weekend, and we start from 17th place. Now, Hulkenberg has a grid drop. He's behind us, so we have gained a place. However, we're still quite a way away from points. Now, interestingly, this strategy is quite unique. Now, I have an idea in my head. We have that rain forecast, and that could spice things up. So, the original strat, once you personalize it, is a hard, medium. But I'm wondering, what if we flipped it? Reason being is because if the rain's going to arrive, surely we'd want a shorter first stint, and then hopefully we can basically undercut using the hards for the second stint. I think that makes more sense. So I'm kind of inclined to give this a go and see if we can make it work. So I think why not? Let's take a chance and see if we can pull it off. So I'm tempted to gamble here. Also, the medium will give us better grip at the start. We'll be faster on the launch. So let's give it a go. Now, actually, it seems that strategy was actually really specific to us because Jarno's gone for it, but everybody else seems to be on mediums, which indicates a medium or a medium hard possibly. So not so smart in the end, but we'll still try and make it work and hopefully have a good first lap. Right then, let's get to it, shall we? Lights on. Let's try and have a good start. Good launch. I'm going to get the inside here. I'm going to fight to get this one. Into turn 1, we have to back out a little bit there with Alonso, but that was a lunge and a risk worth taking. And we're going to get Sainz, who's a bit slow there, in a 3 wide, so straight away up to 13th. And that is an aggressive start, exactly what the doctor ordered. And we've got some battling up ahead here, so Everyone's kind of slowing up. We're going to casually just slide down the inside of Bortoleto here. Still though, got to give room on the exit. I'm going to wait a little bit to use my battery. Signs, having a look. That Williams is rapid on the straight. Into this braking zone. We're going to have to be careful here. Everyone's moving all over the place, but Bortoleto opens the door on the outside and we take it. Can we lock it in before the chicane? Yes, we can. Good stuff. P12. Unreal. And now we're behind Juan Fernando Alonso as we head onto this back straight with plenty of charge. Gasly side by side with Lawson. So plenty of battles. Gasly on the hard tyre, so he'll be a bit slow. Alonso trying to go through. Here comes Bortoleto. Not over yet. Down to the hairpin. Oh, yes. Ooh. Turning defense into attack. That is what I'm talking about, baby. What a move. Piastri's in.
DRS now enabled. DRS enabled.
Piastri in. So damage. And that suddenly moves us into P10, and we're looking at a Pierre Gasly on hard tyres here, so if we can get past Pierre and just basically work with Lawson, we are already in the points paying positions, and that is absolutely massive. Still though, plenty of racing to go. Rain on the way, of course. 2 stops it seems, so a lot that can still happen in this one, but for now that's a brilliant start. Uber aggressive start, first lap, and it all pays off as we pull off multiple overtakes and we get ourselves into the top 10. These two going side by side through here is going to cost us all a lot of time. So the sooner they sort it out, the better. And that's exactly what they do. Already, I think Gasly's getting quicker on that hard tyre. Might have to defend from Alonso here, though. He's close. The field kind of compressing. Wasn't a good thing. Actually, no, we're going to be okay. Alonso's not close enough. Ooh, a wall brush there. Alonso's not that quick on the straight, so I wonder if he's running a used engine. He's one of the few cars I can compete with in a straight line. Bortoleto was battling with him just a minute ago, so they've lost a little bit of time. I'm happy to just follow these two for now. This is our race, we're not that quick, so us being here is really good, just getting DRS and following. Okay, we managed to keep Bortoleto out of DRS range. He has passed Alonso, but I think Alonso might go back through now because of the DRS. These two are dragging us along really well, so this is perfect. And now they're going to start hopefully swapping, although it looks like they're battling instead, which is not great. We've finally got a break to the guys behind and now they're doing this. But to be fair, there's even more going on behind. Doohan now making the move, so they're really losing time behind, but we've got to make the most of this, and this isn't helping. Right, I think Gasly has gone now, definitively. He passed Lawson on this one and has a reasonable gap. Doohan's very quick as well, and it's hanging in there, so the Alpines are working well as we lock up the front and the rear through the hairpin. Really don't want to bring those guys back into play if I can avoid it. So we need Pierre to pull us on that hard tyre. Lawson's actually lost DRS on Gasly. That's how quick Pierre has got it moving in the last lap. Doohan's really quick. He's right there. I don't know if he got DRS on me or not, but he's right back into play. The way this track works, it's really suboptimal because I can actually overtake Lawson here, but I'm very slow out of the hairpin all the way onto the next back straight. So sector 1, all of it. Whereas I'm really quick in this sector 2, but I can't get close enough through sector 1 to pass him on the other straight. So it's the complete opposite of what it needs to be as we are going to try and get Doohan back here. Not going to let him go that easily. We're scheduled to box now, lap 9, just got to try and stick with Lawson here.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
Jack's forcing it though. I'm doing a good job of making mistakes. He's pushing me here. Lawson stays out, so we're going to go in and get them hard tyres on and get off these. Also going to put our front wing down as well to see if we can find a bit more confidence and stability. Luckily we've got the last pit box, so that's going to be good. We'll hopefully not have any time loss. Just don't want to get held or have a slow stop. In we go. Good stuff, 2.5 on the money, straight back out onto the fresh hards.
Okay, 1 stop to go, just 1 stop left in this strategy.
We're going to rejoin, nice bit of clean air, and this is essentially us. I'm going to try and undercut back to Gasly. That would be ideal if I could pull that off. Got to make sure we leave Doohan now out of our DRS range. That's critical in the short term, and not bring him with us. Right, there's more cars in the pit lane. Let's see where we are in terms of the pack as we get this lap underway.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
P11. We've got Piastri just ahead of Coles, who boxed for damage on lap 1. We have undercut Lawson. Hopefully Lawson battles with Doohan ideally. That'll do me a world of good, and I can just drive away and pull away and do my own race. Need to make sure I nail this corner though, which I'll struggle with compared to the AI. Oh, I don't know. I think I might have let Lawson in there. Even still, look how much we lose in acceleration. Right, I think Gasly is in. Yes, he is. Personal best. Pierre onto the medium. It's going to be close. But we're just going to get it. Just. That's going to cost Lawson some time. I mean, to be fair, Pierre's going to be quicker.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Pierre will get straight back through in no time, but still, just the success of pulling off the strategy and getting back ahead of him. Wanted to get DRS on Piastri here, but not close enough. So Pierre will go. Nothing I can do about that. Way more pace, grip. But we'll just follow him for the time being. He'll be a good car to be dragged along by if I can hang on to his pace on mediums. Right, there goes Gasly already. Wasting no time. Getting past Oscar. And I think we're catching, I want to say another car ahead. I don't know who it is. It's hard to tell. I think it's actually Jarno. Yes, it is. So Jarno still hasn't boxed. He's staying out there. So either looking at a long 1 or a 2 possibly. Oh, Gasly mistake. Not sure what exactly happened there, but the dirt, yeah, it's horrific. I can't get close through here at all. Well, I don't have a ton of battery. I'm really struggling to charge around this track. Lawson's going to go. But I'm going to try and see if I can hang on. Doohan involved as well. Behrman, 3 wide ahead. Piastri getting involved. Everybody's moving in the braking zone. It's all kicking off. Otmir loses that. I'm going to try and hang on here and keep Doohan at bay. Gasly's going to get away now, as we have a Otmir Piastri blockade in front. Let's see what happens then. Down to the hairpin. This could get explosive. There we go. Got some movement. Up ahead and down behind as well. Piastri gets Otmir now for certain. Although, will either one box? No, they're staying out. Interesting. Lawson's going to go for it here. Thinks better of it. Going to try and see if I can sneak through. Yes, we do. Good move, opportunistic. Maybe we can use Otmir here and Piastri to pull away. I'm going to actually wait behind Otmir and get DRS. Use our teammate here. Right, let's use a little bit of battery we have to try and hang on. Here comes Lawson. Oh my god, look at the speed of the V-carb though. I can't fight that. Lawson's just driving off. We are slowing the straight. Oh no. Damn it. Damage again. Don't believe it. Lawson turned in and sort of turned out. Oh my god, it's disaster. Expected way too much grip. Our race is done. The point streak's going to come to an end unless the rain.
Okay, you've got front wing damage. This will have a major impact on performance unless you box for a new one.
The smart thing to do here would be to let Jarno go in case he wants to box on this lap, because I need a wing change. So we'll let it go.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
And get a wing change, but that could be our race done, to be honest. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. That's just a devastating issue. I think someone dive bombed down the inside and Lawson turned out. And then we had nowhere to go. It was too late. Either way, that's, yeah, GG's. We need a safety car to get back in this one now. Or a red flag, or VSC, or a rain to cause chaos. It's a slow stop as well. 9.2. Worst possible scenario. Piastri pits and rejoins comfortably ahead of us.
We think we might see some rain. ETA about 15 minutes.
That's not what I wanted to hear at all. So Jarno's in for those mediums. I'm gonna guess. Yep, mediums for Jarno. I think it's actually quite interesting to note how we applied the tyre blanket, tyre wear reduction upgrade to Jarno, and he's one-stopping it on a reverse one-stop, whereas we're two-stopping. So already the upgrade showing signs that it's working, which is good. Cars in the pit lane. Quite a few actually on this one. Also, the skies are continuing to get darker now. I wonder if we'll see a late twist. A few more cars. We're going to move up a few more positions here. P13 now. Although we're going to start losing a few as now some of those fresh tyre runners are right behind me. Right, here comes Doohan. He's close and lurking. We'll cover the inside.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from rain now. I'll keep you updated as conditions change.
Left a little bit of space there, but luckily we defend it well. If that rain were to arrive and change the race, we've actually given ourselves a slight chance that we could still maybe go for a point if we get our strategy right. Doohan's really close now. Show him to the outside. A bit early on the turn in, but good defending. Now it's GG. This is very much GG. Before the DRS zone, he's already got me, so all we can do,
and we're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment,
is hang on, and that is a little telltale sign that it might be raining soon. I can't stop the car. I don't know what it is. The AI brake really early in this game as well, but I just can't stop the car. Another wing change, that's going to ruin our race. Literally broken our race so many times, or broken our wing this race so many times, also in the sprint.
Okay, be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage.
I didn't feel too good. I wonder if,
Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
the grip's gone. I know I'm missing a wing, but I can tell it's raining. It's a visual thing. There we go. AI pitting. It's time to box. We're going to lose out though because of the wing change, but it's time. It's intermediates.
Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage.
What a shame. Right, in we go. We're going to be holding up Jarno as well, which is not ideal. We need this to be a good stop. 7.7. Right, away we go. Visually you can see the rain now, so it's here. We're going to get a lap to undercut those who stayed out, which to be fair is quite a lot of cars. So everyone's in, but we're too far back. Just lost too much time. In 2 wing changes in this race alone, if you take off those like extra 12 seconds, we'd be so much higher up the road. But yeah, points are not happening today.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
We haven't even been that quick in the rain in this game either, so I can't even get these conditions to bail me out. Alonso has a look. You can see he's not that fast on the straight. We're actually matching him here. Got to get it stopped. Alonso on the switchback. Gives me a squeeze, but I was having none of it. And we hang on for now. I think the rain has stopped. At least visually it has stopped. That's insane.
No rain expected, no rain expected for the time being. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
Okay. We've got a yellow. Race leader's gone. But suddenly, the rain stopped. AI pitting. or Albon is, off the hard tyre, so I'm not going to box. I thought about it there. I thought he was going for dries, but it's actually him getting off the hard tyre. Verstappen's out. Too late for a safety car, but we'll gain a position. Oh, yellow flag. That's in front.
Caution, caution.
Not sure.
Okay, be aware there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
That's Lawson, I think. A late retirement. I can't quite get Alonso, he's too quick. So this race is over now, last lap. We'll bring it home, but points were definitely possible today. So there we go, Charles Leclerc wins in Miami. Gifted, of course, with that Verstappen DNF, making it a lot easier for him. We're going to finish 15th, which looks a little bit better with the DNF, of course. It kind of sugarcoats it, but didn't really deserve anything today. But we weren't that far off the points at all, and in hindsight, we was going to get points, but it all started to unravel with that first bit of damage, and then from then it was all downhill. But I'll take the positives from that one for sure.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And Leclerc to the line, to the checkered flag. It's King Charles today. He wins.
And it's always good, Crofty, to get that momentum on your side, and it's really good for your confidence as well. The more confident you are, the further that can take you.
It's time for our podium celebrations. And as ever in Formula One, 3 is the magic number. And who gets to take the top step of the podium? Yes, it is I, Leclerc. Charles Leclerc on top.
So here we have the final results then from the race portion of the sprint weekend. Ferrari won 2 and Ferrari win back-to-back races. This one though was convincing, and to be fair, big points for them. They're hitting form already this season. Piastri recovers the P5. What a performance from him after being out of position the entire race. He must have basically cut out a pit stop somewhere and regained all the time on his rivals. And then really elsewhere, just things to note, we do finish in P15, no points, Otmir P20, Lawson, Verstappen, DNF. And it's a shame because if you look at the gaps, really, you know, we were shadowing Gasly that entire race. That was the plan, to be in his shadow and have him just drag us along or be with him the whole time. And it should have been points. It should have been points, but we didn't get it right. Damage 3 times, twice in the main race, once in the sprint, and that's what you get. No points, as our point streak comes to an end on round number 6, I believe, or round 7, not sure. Either way, let's jump to the standings then, and let's have a look at the results after that one. So Ferrari 1-2, we are still in the top 10, and no big change to our position, so that's a good thing, really. In the Constructors, also no change. We're P5, but we do lose out to Mercedes quite a bit. Williams, Alpine, Aston Martin, Sauber do close in a little bit respectively, but generally speaking, we still have a comfortable, healthy margin of 15 points over Williams, so that's good. Either way, guys, that's going to be it from this one. We'll see how that affects things in terms of our owner rating, fan rating, and just generally how we score points moving forward. But look, it is what it is. We can all have bad days, and we should have got points today, and we didn't. Imola next, looking forward to that one. In the meantime, guys, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more daily F125 content, and yeah, hopefully you guys do enjoy it. In the meantime, a massive shout out to my channel members for supporting all the videos that I make. Also, please check out the 2 videos on screen for more videos like this, including my game settings. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Let's go bye from me. Ciao.